Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. At AM 630.
Well, there are a few congressmen of the 435 that, I'll be honest, we play favorites. And one of our favorites is Representative Louie Gohmert from Texas.
Big fan.
Well, I gotta love Louie Gohmert, partly because, he's just so fun to have on the air. I mean, he always says something that's memorable, right? We always leaves us with something. But I could not believe it, Louie Gohmert. Thank you for joining us. You're on with Dan Bongino this morning, in for Brian Wilson, and I'm Larry O'Connor. Louie Gohmert, why were you rude and irate to members of the U.S. Park Police? I can't believe that this does not sound like the Louie Gohmert that I know.
Well, I was surprised to find out I was rude and irate. I don't know of anybody that's happy and gushing to get a parking ticket.
You just made my point.
That was the case, but I tell you, I've been told for over 8 years by wonderful Park Service folks. I've been to numerous places around the mall that Park Service oversees. No, you can park here. If Park Service can park here, you can park here, Congressman.
Congressman Gohmert, let me...
And actually, it's a lane along the curb that says, Park Service can park along this curb. And, I parked there numerous times when we've had people say they had a problem with the film that's being shown under the Lincoln Memorial. I've made a couple of trips down there for that. People said there's too much bird poop. I've driven down. And I've taken a lot of constituents down there. But I was just shocked after all these years now to find a parking ticket.
So let me inform the
I was rude and irate.
Representative Gohmert, let me inform the listeners of what we're talking about here. So it was last week, or 2 weeks ago, you were in the evening. You parked over by the Lincoln Memorial, and you parked in one of the things. And your understanding, based on your congressional plates and based on the rules in Washington D.C., if there's an open spot, you can take it, especially if you're specifically if you're conducting congressional business. And you're saying that because of your committee assignments, part of your job is to oversee the National Park Service. So where's the discrepancy here?
Well, look, we're looking back into. I was relying on what I've been told in the past, but look, nobody is above the law. I've always believed that. I was a law and order judge, and heck, I was told at Texas A&M I was the only leader there to ever give himself demerits, but I felt like everybody ought to play under the same rules. Did it as a judge as well. But if we end up owing this, I'll pay the $25. But what we've seen so far is this isn't under the Capitol rules. It's under the D.C. Code that says member Congress, quote, may park their vehicles in any available curb space in the District of Columbia. So anyway, if it turns out available curb space does not mean where I'd been informed I could in the past, then we'll pay the $25. But I didn't realize I was being rude and irate.
Well, Congressman Dan Bongino here. In your defense,
it was a shock to read the story.
Well, and in your defense, having been a former police officer when I was a young chap, I never recall giving someone a parking ticket where the headline on Breitbart the next day was, ecstatic congressman gets parking ticket. Right. I mean, it's kind of a ridiculous story. Here's the story here. Man is upset about getting parking ticket. Not, man punches police officer, man runs over. Man upset about parking ticket. So.
And I gave him my card, said, look, if this is not the case, give me a call. And, I'm not hard to find. Give me a call, and we'll take care of it. But,
So, Representative Gohmert.
In the story, I would have thought a person smiles and laughs and clicks his heels to get a parking ticket. That would have been a story. You're right, Larry.
But Representative Gohmert, I mean, you handed him your card. You explained that you're doing that you're a congressman. You're doing congressional business. Is it possible that they interpreted that as you were kind of big timing them and saying, "Hey, don't you know who I am? I'm a congressman in this town. I can put this car wherever I want." Do you think it was interpreted that way?
No, the way to do that is when you say, don't you know who I am? And if they say no, then you jump in your car and drive off because can't find you. That's oh, you don't know where great, I'm gone. So anyway, no, I gave him the card to identify who I was, and so that they would know, hey, oh, you're one of those that we tell all the time, yeah, you can park here. And I said, the congressional plate was right there under where you put the ticket. And he said, oh, I didn't see it. And then he said, well, I wouldn't know what it was when, it's 5 by 11 inch. Okay, well, so he didn't know.
I'm glad we cleared this up.
Constituents in there. I'd just taken 120 people through the Capitol, and that should have been a news article. Congressman has his budget cut 20% over 3 years, but still taking 120 constituents this week on a tour through the Capitol.
Yeah, we'll wait for that Politico headline. Representative Gohmert, let's shift real fast. The president is saying that he wants the Senate to move quickly on an immigration bill. We're hearing from the Senator Sessions there that he's afraid it's going to be pushed through without any real debate. What's the House going to do when they get this immigration bill from the Senate?
Well, the last thing we need to do is some massive comprehensive bill, because every time you hear it's got to move through fast and it's got to be comprehensive, another definition for that is it's going to have a whole lot of stuff in it that could never pass if people knew it was in the bill. So to me, that means we need to slow it down, make sure we do the right thing, make sure we don't give amnesty to a bunch of folks that want to destroy us, and make sure it doesn't end up like 1986, where we became a magnet to drawing people in who would expect amnesty down the road again like they got in 86.
Well, Congressman, I think the left understands there's so many things in this package that the public isn't going to like that they're going to do the old Obamacare route. You got to pass it. Exactly. We'll find out what's in it later, right?
Find out what's in it, exactly.
Yeah, all the goodies.
And you're awfully smart. You make a good senator,
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Representative Gohmert, one last thing. Bongino was getting really jealous because during the break I was explaining how you promised that you would invite the entire Mornings on the Mall team to your barbecue, and he wants to be able to jump onto the invitation. Is that allowable?
That's doable. That's doable. I've still got to. The Capitol Police are just fantastic, and I've never had a problem with them cooking. But the architect of the Capitol had shut me down at one place, and both Democrats and Republicans, since it's a bipartisan barbecue, they want me cooking again. I've just got to find a good spot.
All right. Well, when you do, let us know, and maybe we should do the show live from there or something.
I heard his ribs are the best in town.
Louie's barbecue.
You're not polite to talk with your mouth full.
No problem. I do that all morning. All right, Representative Gohmert, thanks for coming on and clearing the air.
Hey,
thanks a lot.
Always good to hear from you. You have a great Easter. Good luck with the Baylor Bears there in the NIT final.
Hey, how about that?